right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin in the crypto markets. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. We are going to go over the altcoin markets today, the Bitcoin price action, and the total market cap. And we are going to talk about what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. What's the most probable thing to happen? Of course, there's no guarantees in trading, and we do have news catalysts that can cause certain things to kick off. But welcome in, everybody, and let's just go ahead and talk about, Bitcoin has been in this range now going on 3.5 weeks or so, and it is continuing to hold strong around some key macro resistance areas. Now, we do have to remember we are at key macro resistance with multiple divergences of high time frame bear divs. So a little bit concerning there, but Bitcoin is holding strong, and we're seeing that opportunity for altcoins to really start to kick off on their potential last leg of the bull market here, the potential last run for altcoins to kind of push up to make new all-time highs before this market ends in the next few months here, this bull market. Now, I am not saying that it's guaranteed to end, but if we are going off the 4-year cycle, we do know that, come October, November here, that 4-year cycle is supposed to be ending, projected to be ending, and we might go into a little bit of a bear season here, or at least a pullback that could last months or so. So welcome in, everybody. First off, I want to start about talking about this total market cap on crypto. Now, before I get into this, can you guys hear me okay? Is the music now off? The music should be off. I'm going to go ahead and do the stream without music this time. So let's make sure that music is good and off. Let's see. Yep. Okay. And just welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining. So you can see here that on the screen, I have the total market cap chart. This includes Bitcoin, Ethereum, the entire market cap. And we are hitting into some key resistance, being that upper pitchfork band of the pitchfork. And we were expecting a bit of at least a range or a correction. If we look at our Fibonacci extinction targets, let me actually pull that up here. Then you can see we are still looking for a fourth wave to come down a little bit further. And we have not tapped our 382 to our 0.5 Fibonacci targets yet. And this is the potential area where we could continue to see this slow bleed down for some time in order to hit this. Now, I'm looking just at this impulse here, not being completed yet, potentially coming up to that 1-to-1 Fibonacci target in a bearish scenario. So let's back up here a little bit. We hit into the top of the pitchfork in December and saw the total market cap top out, and we saw that multi-month correction to the downside, pretty much coming all the way down to the bottom of the pitchfork. We did front run the bottom of the pitchfork a little bit. Since then, we have got a very explosive rally to the upside, even breaking above our prior highs here. But one of the things that we really need to watch for on this push up so far, it does look very much like a 3-wave corrective move so far. And there is such a thing as a flat correction where your 3-wave move comes up, takes out the highs of your prior highs, and then it sees a big drop down. So this would be our bearish case scenario. If we were going to see a bearish case scenario, we would expect to maybe come up to that 4.15 trillion up to maybe 4.4 trillion and see then sort of a bear season kick in, a bear market kick in here. And if this is a bullish case scenario, then we really could see this thing pop off all the way up to the 1.618, which is at the top of the pitchfork, and then see a continuation for months, many months and months to come here. We would expect the altcoins to really rally and for Bitcoin to really rally to continue to make new all-time highs. But right now we are within, even if this is the bearish case scenario, if you're looking at an ABC correction here, and your most common targets for that ABC correction are between the 1-to-1 and the 1.236. So we have not quite made it up there yet. And within your A wave, you're expected to see a 5-wave impulse within that A wave. You see a 3-wave corrective move within your B wave, and then inside your C wave, you're going to want to see another 5-wave impulse to the upside. Now, if we just zoom in onto this potential C wave or a 3-wave, if it's a bullish case scenario, this will be a 3 that could break out to 4.89 trillion. If this is a bearish case scenario, we still do expect more upside overall. But within this C wave, if we just go ahead and come in here and focus on this impulse up from about 2.95 trillion, 2.97 trillion, this impulse that we're seeing so far, we do not see a clear 5 wave move to the upside yet. And we are still in our 4th wave correction. And the 4th wave correction generally lasts longer than your 2nd wave correction. And it's generally a little bit shallower than your 2nd wave correction. Now, our 2nd wave did not go too deep. And there's a possibility that we are done with the 4th wave. This little pullback here was the it. And then we're about to take off here, really starting to push up and break those levels to the upside. But I do think that some of the higher time frame signals, yes, money flow does look pretty good here on Market Cipher B, but you can see on NAMI, we did have those bear divs confirmed and our money flow is draining out. We did print a hidden bull div on the lows a couple days ago, and that is a bullish sign. That hidden bull div has already given us a pretty good move back up, pretty much equal highs in the making. But what I want to talk about is if we are going to see a little bit of a retrace, if we look at some of the momentum waves and money flow on Bitcoin and the altcoins, they are still looking a little bit bearish here. And a lot of those altcoins were at some very, very key resistances. And we were expecting a bit of a retrace and a pullback over the next couple of weeks, which in my eyes is a good opportunity to reload up on some of those long positions for the final legs of the impulses that they are in. We're looking particularly at this impulse here not being completed yet. And same with Bitcoin, same with the altcoins. We're still expecting more upside overall on this impulse. But within the impulse, you are going to see small corrections within inside of it before continuation up. And these corrections, this is a daily time frame. These corrections can take a couple of weeks to happen, and they can often form those ranges that get everyone overly excited and, or bored, and they make mistakes in these ranges, putting a improper risk management, getting a lot of liquidity put into the market, where then the market makers can take advantage of that and get stop out a lot of people and get a lot of liquidity. So I would say that we do need to kind of be aware that we could still be seeing that correction over the next couple of weeks here, a little bit lower. If we zoom in onto the 4-hour chart here, now one of the things that I will show you guys right away, you can see when we zoom in on the chart, we actually have not hit the pitchfork band yet. If you zoom back out onto the daily, it does look like we hit the pitchfork band yet. It does look like we've actually hit the pitchfork band. Now, I do not still understand if this is a bug on coin or on trading view, where when you're zoomed out, it looks like it hits, but when you're zoomed in, it's not hitting. What I would say is this is a high time frame pitchfork. This pitchfork was pulled off of daily price action or even off the weekly price action. If you zoom out onto the weekly chart, it's pulled off some key daily lows here. So for me, the daily time frame is the time frame that I am looking at as far as if we've actually hit the level of resistance or not. So zooming back in onto that daily time frame, we have hit that level of resistance, and I was expecting a bit of a correction, a 3-wave corrective move down over the next couple weeks to hit into our levels of support before continuing that last push up to actually make it to the top of the pitchfork band, or if it's the very bullish case scenario, seeing that 3rd-wave explosion continue, pushing up to that 1.618, very similar to Ethereum's price action, where we do have that 1.618 in confluence with the top of that pitchfork, where that could be the end of our most explosive 3rd wave to the upside before seeing that 4th-wave correction, and then your 5th wave complete here, seeing the overall impulse complete, the bigger daily time frame or weekly time frame impulse complete. And this will take time to play out. This is a daily time frame. This will take time. So we do have to be patient here with that. But if zooming in here now on, let's just go to the 2-hour chart. You can see that the total market cap has been starting to range right around our pitchfork band of resistance. And we are forming this sideways range. So you can pull the volume of this range. You can see we're just trading within this range. So really nothing too unusual yet. I will say this, and I've seen this over and over on both NAMI and Market Cipher B, but as we're forming, first of all, those higher highs in the price action, We are getting the bearish divergence happening with money flow draining out of the asset, which usually gives us that signal that we're going to see a bit of a correction. Same thing on NAMI, and then NAMI had the bear dibs on money flow, and then we got that correction to the downside. Now, this move down that we saw, this is what's a little bit concerning for me. This move down that we saw, the best way to count this move down to me looks like a three-wave corrective move down. But we have not come to our generally our most common target areas between the 0.382 and the 0.5. That's your pullback for a wave 4. We did not quite make it down to that area. And so we could be looking at a bigger complex WXY correction where we see a series of three wave moves within the bigger three wave move coming down to that 0.382 to 0.5 Fibonacci extinction target, which in these areas, especially this 0.5 Fibonacci, because if we look at our liquidity of the dead cat bounce flows, or the start of our range, really, that liquidity is going to be right into that 0.5. And I know I've shown this in prior streams, but if we got to move down to this area and started to reclaim these lows, that would be a really, really great signal for me. I would be looking at some of the altcoins to see if they're at good support levels as well, to look for really day trade to swing trade long opportunities on a lot of the altcoins, because I do think that we are going to continue up. The overall bias on the higher time frames is to continue higher, at least continuing to finish this impulse here. And I would expect, even in a bearish case scenario, to make it up to that 4.15 trillion. So just ranging, seeing a little bit of some corrective moves in here. And I do think that we might get that pullback. A lot of the other altcoins are seeing very similar things. And let's go into Bitcoin real quick. If we look at Bitcoin, I did show this in yesterday's video, but if we zoom in onto the 1 hour chart on Bitcoin, we are still within Bitcoin's range. Let me get rid of some of this stuff here real quick. We are still within that range on Bitcoin. We've been in that range since July 10th, July 11th or so. So going close to 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks here, Bitcoin's been in this range. Now, one of the things that we did see is that initial big push down for hitting into our 1.618, which we know is our third wave target, hit into it perfectly, rejected from it perfectly. If we go on to our Bybit chart, you could see that 1.618 was also where our pitchfork top was. You can see we wicked a little bit past our pitchfork band, hitting that 1.618, and now we're seeing that corrective sideways and down price action that we would expect to see in your wave 4 before seeing one last push up to complete the impulse here. And so I am still bullish on Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is, it's continuing to range within this small range, and I do like some levels just below us. Today, we finally did come down and hit that weekly level that was naked, that closed last week, and you see we are bouncing from that weekly level of support. We still have not been able to reclaim the VWAP or the point of control. Now, very, very locally, if we do reclaim this point of control and this VWAP, we could be done with this, and we could be about to push up much, much further. But I would like to see, generally, if we're looking at this push up here as a wave 1, and we're looking for our wave 2 correction before continuing in a big wave 3 explosion to the upside after seeing this bigger sideways correction here, then we want to see, and the reason why we're ending it here is because we finally came down and took out our range liquidity. We had our range lows that were sitting either at 115.7, or you could have even marked out this little dead cat low in here at 115.2. Nope, let me get that in the right spot. But either way, we did come down and finally take out that liquidity. So, and I was showing you guys on the liquidation heat map, if we just look at the last 2 weeks of price action, 2 to 3 weeks of price action, we had a lot of liquidity that was below us that generally the market makers do not leave behind and let that liquidity stay intact before continuing the trend to the upside. And so we were finally able to get that liquidity grab. Looks like this might not load here. This always has a problem loading when I'm streaming for some reason. But you guys will just have to take my word on it, or go watch the previous live streams from last week or my video from yesterday. I did show that in the videos. So we finally did come down and grab our liquidity. Now, after your liquidity grab, we got that very nice move from grabbing our range low liquidity all the way up to the value area high of the range. And we also had a naked daily point of control up there very close by. we are seeing a bit of a correction from that push up. From that was also the top of our descending channel. And I showed you guys this descending channel in yesterday's video. Let me hide this range real quick. And I'm just going to hide this weekly for a second as well. But after hitting into our 1.618, we got our initial push down here. And from that initial push down, we have kind of been ranging more sideways and down, very shallow. And so I pulled a channel from our lower high, our first lower high, to our third lower high, or second lower high, and down to the initial range lows. And you can see that we have been really nicely respecting this descending channel, which is a corrective. This descending channel does have a higher probability of breaking to the upside. This is a corrective channel that often, as these descending channels are forming, it has a higher probability to break to the upside. But if you also turn on your volume, and you can see the volume now, this here is a bit concerning, but it was our liquidity grab, so we do expect some increased volume on the stopping out of that liquidity. But you generally want to see your volume decreasing as this range is forming. And for the most part, we were seeing the volume decrease, got the liquidity grab, got the spike in volume during the liquidity grab, and then we've kind of been decreasing now. And just recently here, just today actually, we're starting to see some of that volume kick in here upon the test of our naked weekly level that we just are bouncing from earlier. But I would say that we are still in a complex correction here, and this correction could be done. I do like a level. I pointed this out to you guys yesterday as well. But if we look at our Fibonacci pull, let's see, let me grab, I guess we don't have it on the chart. From the lows of Friday to our weekend highs. Now remember, weekend highs often get taken out. Weekend highs and weekend lows, and we turn on our golden pocket. This golden pocket is going to be coming in right at our channel midline, and our channel midline has been highly respected in this range here. As we've been forming this range, this channel midline is getting us bounces. If we do reject from our point of control and our VWAP, I expect one more push down, hitting into this golden pocket, and then seeing that push up. And also, if we look at our volume profile, our high volume nodes of this range on Coinbase, you can see our value area low has not been hit yet. Our value area low is just below into that golden pocket area. If we turn on our naked daily points of control, I believe there was, no, the naked daily point of control is a bit lower than that. But we do have support that is just below us that I am still interested in. And this is the level that I marked out the last couple of days is my main level of interest to look for a long opportunity to potentially break out of this range, continuing, breaking out of this channel, continuing and breaking the range to the upside. I will say this, if this is a wave one, there is some issues with our push up from Friday being a potential wave one, because it does not look the cleanest as a 5-wave impulse. Like we have pretty much 886 tap here. Then we got our big push up, a sideways correction, and then our last little leg. So doesn't look the cleanest as a 5-wave impulse, but if this is a wave one, your wave two often and most commonly retraces to that golden pocket. Well, we do have a lot of confluence at that golden pocket around 116.7 to 116.5. It's the value area low of the range. It's the midline of our channel. And if we go on to, this is really what is most important for me. If we come on to our big multi-cycle pitchfork, and this pitchfork midline was the main midline that was acting as resistance last time, and we are working on flipping it to support now. And if we do come down in this corrective type price action, coming down, hitting that midline, hitting the golden pocket, which you can see is going to be in confluence with the back test of that midline, and this does hold, that could be our signal to break out, to finally break up to new all-time highs. So this area of support is the area of support that I'm really going to be looking at. It does look like we are starting to reject from that point of control. Let's actually pull this volume profile here. Yeah, starting to reject from the point of control. Now you can see the value area low on Bybit is a bit higher. It was in confluence with that weekly. So this is where it gets a little bit confusing here, and we could see the bounce from the weekly level. Weekly levels of support are very strong levels of support, and if you have confluence with a high volume node like the value area low, then that could be the area that we're going to bounce from. So I'm not saying we have to come down to that golden pocket. It is the most common area to come down to in a wave 2 retrace, but it does not have to be that way. You can see here on Bybit, or this is Binance, but Bybit's the same volume nodes. Weekly level hit, came down, hit exactly into our value area low, but we are now rejecting from the point of control. And if we do not reclaim that point of control, we can just expect to continue to grind to the downside here, hitting into our golden pocket, which is also the value area low on the Coinbase range, which the Coinbase volume levels are the levels that I do respect the most and do look at the most. So, yeah, and you can see our VWAP is also closer to that POC on Coinbase. We are rejecting 2 times now, very, very locally. We have tried to get back above this POC after testing our weekly level of support. We bounced up to the POC, rejected. Just now, tried again, and we are rejecting again. So this should give us a little bit of a bias that, you know, we're underneath the VWAP, we're rejecting the VWAP, we're rejecting the point of control after losing the point of control, and we have not come down to the value area low yet. So I do expect a little bit of a grind down still into this level of support. And this golden pocket, just once again, guys, this golden pocket is the most interesting level for me locally because of that high time frame pitchfork support level confluence. The golden pocket in confluence with that pitchfork midline, which ultimately, if we zoom out on higher time frames, we do know the higher time frames mean more in this market than the lower time frames. And if you have a high time frame level, key level that is aligning with the scalp long opportunity, for me, that is going to be what is most interesting for me to take that long position. So, and just to refresh for anyone who hasn't seen this pitchfork was pulled from our prior bull market COVID lows up to our 65K highs down to our bear market lows. And you can see how well the pitchfork has been respected every major swing opportunity in this entire bull market, with the exception of this guy down here, was into really one of those levels. Major levels for the pitchfork. So right now we are working on flipping this pitchfork to support. And let's go ahead and zoom in here a bit. I'm just going to hide this, clean up the chart a bit. But since breaking above the pitchfork, we are now forming a sideways and down corrective range that often forms after at least the third wave of an impulse. We could be looking at our fourth wave here and flipping this into support before continuing to push up to our next major levels. So I am expecting more upside on Bitcoin overall, but I want to see personally us come down a little bit lower to that 116.5, 116.7K area of support, get a bounce from that area, and then that would give us our nice third wave potential to push to the upside. Very, very locally, though, if we're just looking at scalping and we're just looking at this range, right? We say this a lot on the channel, but trade the range until it breaks. And we have been in this range for 3 weeks. We've had many rotations of this range from the value area low to the value area high, from the value area high, value area low, and vice versa. So there's been many great opportunities to scalp this range. And coming down after rejecting on the weekend, by the way, rejecting the value area high, top of the channel on the weekend, we are rotating down to the value area low of the range. Now, if we are going to just continue this range for a bit longer, because it is possible that we could continue this range even for another couple weeks. Oftentimes these ranges last longer than we want, tend to bore people in the market, get people to make dumb decisions within this area, and then the market makers really kick in and wreck a lot of people. So if we are going to bounce from this golden pocket, we do have that resistance coming up into that daily level. That daily level is going to be, I do believe there was another level of resistance around there, a naked daily point of control or a naked weekly point of control. Let's see here. Oh, excuse, no, I got it. It's our golden pocket. So our golden pocket pulled from the highs, in this case, our all-time high. Our range highs, this is our range that we've been in for 3 weeks, from our range highs to our range lows that we took. You can see that golden pocket is in perfect confluence with that daily level. And if we do just continue to range here, This will be at least a TP1 for me, and the value area high is very right underneath that. But anytime, I've talked about this so many times on the channel, anytime you have a liquidity grab into a golden pocket and we have a Sunday high, weekend high, liquidity grab into a fresh daily level into a golden pocket. So this is our local area of resistance that we do need to be watching on the charts. So maybe this is going to happen during the stream, but if we continue to kind of bleed down here into this golden pocket, get a long opportunity from this golden pocket, my first TP level would be this daily, and I would be pulling some out, 35 to 50% of the trade out, playing this as a scalp position at first, and then look for a bit of a retrace from here. In this case, if we are going to see a rejection from this daily level, if we're going to remain bullish, we want to see us come back down to that channel, the channel that we're breaking out of, and now flip that to support and then continue. Because if we're expecting this to be a wave one, a wave two, your wave three, you generally want to be explosive and quick. Now, within that wave three, you're going to see small pullbacks. So maybe our wave one brings us up here, our wave two, and then our wave three, wave four, wave five, and that gives you your bigger third wave to the upside. But as a scalp opportunities, right now we are playing scalp opportunities on Bitcoin while we're waiting for some of the altcoins to correct and potentially get some swing longs on some of the alts. Support level I'm interested in here. Resistance level I'm interested in is the daily golden pocket swing failure pattern. Other than that, I am not interested in anything else within this range. I will wait. If this level does not hold the support, we do have that naked daily that's just below us, but I'd be looking to come down to take out the, hit into the bottom of the channel or start to break this range down a little bit more. Okay, let me check the chat here, see what's up with everybody. Welcome in, guys. Turn the printer on. Yeah, you know what? It looks like Jerome Powell is getting a lot of pressure to turn that printer on, and we will see. I don't think it's going to happen in September. To be honest with you guys, I don't think it's going to happen in September. I think it's going to be October, November, but we do expect some rate cuts soon. What's up, Quiles? Good to see you. Investment Time, good to see you. And Kaijuice, welcome in, man. Looks like the correction on BTC to 113K coming now. Well, okay, 113K is that, we talked about this on the last stream. Yes, 113K is a level of interest, definitely. But I'm playing as a trader level to level. We're still within this range. So until we start breaking this range to the downside, we need to look at just our local levels of support first. And if this level breaks, then yes, I will be looking down to those lower levels, 112.8, 113K. We did have some levels down there. And actually, I do want to discuss this as well, because we do have, let me zoom out here. We are rejecting from the pitchfork band now after losing it. You can see we tried to get it back up in it over the weekend. We tried yesterday to get back up into it, and now we're starting to reject here. So we are starting to lose our bigger pitchfork band. And for those of you that are confused, I'm following three major pitchforks right now. This pitchfork is pulled from, if we zoom out onto the 2-day chart, this is from this cycle. Now remember, the pitchfork on my Binance chart, this bigger one, is pulled from our last cycle key swing highs and swing lows. COVID low, 2021 high, 2022 low. That is your most macro pitchfork here. If we zoom in onto the Bybit chart here, this is pulled from this cycle's wave 3 impulse, from right before BlackRock applied for the ETF to after it got approved, to topping out at our 74K highs down to your 2024 correction low. So this is from this cycle. This is following our more local bullish momentum of this market cycle. And you can see this pitchfork is very similar to that total market cap pitchfork that I showed you guys at the beginning of the stream. But we did reject from the top of the pitchfork, grinded our way down to the lower band of the pitchfork, bounced from the lower band, worked our way up to the upper band, back tested that midline, which is what we're looking for on the higher time frame pitchfork. This is actually a perfect example of this, guys. So broke above the midline with a volume imbalance candle here. Chopped around above the midline. We even came to the upper band here, but then we needed to come down and back test what used to be resistance as support. Once we confirmed the flip to support, we made new highs. So what we're looking for on a higher time frame, pitchfork right now, is that same thing. Break above the pitchfork midline, chop around for a bit. Now we need to back test this, confirm the flip to support, and then continue to push up to new highs. So just a little bit of a tangent there, but I just wanted to show you that. All right, so on this pitchfork though, our wave 3 cycle from this bull cycle, if we zoom in now on this, on the 1 hour chart, we are starting to lose that pitchfork band. And this is why I do think the correction could continue a little bit longer. Mainly with Bitcoin, I expect the range to continue. I really don't expect too big of a breakdown on Bitcoin because this does look more sideways and corrective. And Bitcoin is holding up very, very well. But with us today, coming up, seeing that perfect rejection, first of all, a weakened rejection here, trying to get back within the pitchfork band, and then the lower high rejection here yesterday, actually today, trying to get back within that band, and now dropping down, making new local lows. We've taken out our local lows. I do expect to continue to grind down a little bit lower, at least to our golden pocket area. Money flow looks bad on Market Cipher B. It's just crossing into the red. NAMI has crossed into the red and is bleeding pretty hard right now. We're not really seeing any bull divs on the charts yet. And so I would like to come down and continue that. I guess you are seeing 1 hour bull divs here already confirmed. But it's, yeah, it's not looking the best here yet as far as money flow goes. That money flow is going to overpower a single drive of bull divs every time. So Bitcoin range to continue. And as the Bitcoin range continues, if we go into our dominance chart, we are still just hovering around the bottom of our channel. And this channel is either going to hold. Now, reminding you guys about dominance. If dominance is going up, we're generally going to see the altcoins lagging behind Bitcoin. So generally Bitcoin kind of steals the show again and Bitcoin starts to pump and the altcoins continue to correct. Well, this channel has been our bull market trend since March of 2023. Bitcoin's kind of stolen the show of this market cycle. We finally saw our first big break in market structure on the daily time frame, breaking our prior daily lows here and coming to the bottom of our big trend channel. You know, we did see a couple fake outs of it in this area in December, trying to see whether we're going to break it down now. And after already seeing one fake out, it is more probable that if it's going to break down, it's going to be a true breakdown this time. And we will break down to that 55%, which is where your weekly channel midline is. And your prior lows are going to be coming in right around there. We bounced from that midline the last time we hit into it. But locally, we're holding the bottom of the channel, seeing a little bit of deviation below it, but we're holding the bottom of the channel. And if we can really start to reclaim these 62% lows, previous lows on the dominance chart, I do think Bitcoin is going to see a bit of a rally against the altcoins. And what is that going to mean? The altcoins could continue to correct to the downside while Bitcoin kind of pumps. Or, you know, at least the altcoins can continue to range while Bitcoin is kind of stealing the spotlight again and making a bit of a push up here. This for me, I want to get above these 62% high previous lows before really seeing this confirmation of the channel holding. And if we can get above that 62% lows, previous lows, then I do think that Bitcoin will see a bit of a push up. And in that case, we'll just kind of wait for the altcoins and wait for the rotation on Bitcoin dominance. But I do think this channel is more likely to break down this time, coming up to the midline, rejecting, and then finally breaking down, and we're going to get that altcoin season. It just seems like the altcoin season is ready to take off here. Our altcoin index is showing altcoin season is here. And we're not really seeing any daily bull divs. So if we were coming down here, I would want to see some real big daily bull divs. Actually, you'd have to have lower lows in the price action and higher lows in those momentum waves. And that would give us a daily bull div, which would say that, hey, Bitcoin dominance is going to start to really push up again. We're not seeing that. So I'm expecting lower highs come in. And also, if we look at NAMI, guys, I will harp this over and over. NAMI's hidden bear and hidden bull div signals are really, really good. And we did print that hidden bear div signal on that first attempt to get back above our previous lows here on the daily time frame. You can see we wicked up past it, but we could not close a candle body above it. And oftentimes you'll start to form this range at the bottom of a channel before breaking it down, almost like a bear flag. And so I do think opportunity could be here for altcoins. And Bitcoin has a high probability to continue to range or to continue to, I want to come a little bit lower. And then I want to see a bounce at least up to 120. So I don't know if that's considered ranging for you guys. I know a lot of you guys are very low time frame traders, but for me, that's just still Bitcoin within its overall micro range. It's 3 week range. Okay, sorry guys, I did not check the chat. Jawfeel, it's really good to see you in here, man. Thank you for being able to catch it. Archie TV, Sudeep, welcome in. Thank you guys so much for being here. Investment time, Darren, what's up? Nah, Melissa. Hey, Melissa, it's good to see you in here. False Prophet, what's up, man? Yeah, you guys, False Prophet is the creator of Nami, and thank you for creating this, man. It's been great for me. Using this for exit and entry confirmations has really helped up my game here. So if you are expecting BTC to grind down, should we hold back on full porting on the alts? Well, Melissa, I am expecting Bitcoin to grind down, but we're almost there. We're almost at 116.5. Like if let's zoom back in onto the hourly chart. We're not too far away from it. We could hit that today or tomorrow, but like the way that it's pushing down right now after rejecting that POC earlier today, we're almost there. So if we're going to continue to hit into that area, what's going on with there we go. Continue to grind down to hit into that level of support. I would expect altcoins to continue to grind down very locally as well. Ethereum, I'm looking for it to come a little bit lower, to continue to grind down to that like 3660 level. And some of the other altcoins to kind of drop a little bit more. But I do think altcoins, like the title of the video, let's go hunting for great long altcoin opportunities, because I do not think this altcoin push is over. And I do think this pullback that we are seeing now is going to give us, a lot of people had a lot of FOMO looking at like XRP, looking at Ethereum. We had major pushes to the upside in the past couple of weeks here. And a lot of people were longing these big pushes to the upside here towards the end of the upside. I got a lot of DMs about, hey, can I still long this altcoin? Hey, can I still buy this altcoin? As we were hitting into macro resistances here, people were asking about longing it. And it's like, well, wait, we're at resistance now. Now we need to be patient and wait for a bit of a pullback before now. Then that will give you your opportunity for that another big leg up. So in this case, this pullback for me is welcome relief. And I did take profit at resistance. Like I talked about for many altcoins, we took profit when it got to resistance. Now we're being patient, waiting for the pullbacks to come to these levels with some bull divs and good money flow on the chart in order to really full port long that altcoins. So Melissa, I'm not full port longing yet. I am looking for scalp longs on both Bitcoin and altcoins, but really I do think the correction could continue a little bit more, especially on some of these coins like XRP. I expecting a drop down to like 278 or so, 278, 279. But yeah, I am looking overall for long opportunities in the next few weeks here. Some good long opportunities for potential swing longs. Okay, let's see. Which alt am I looking at? I tend to trade the big altcoins, with good market caps and good liquidity. So I do like trading Solana, XRP, Sui, Say, Ethereum, Chainlink, really the ones that I cover in my videos every day. I like to trade those ones. I do like look at a couple other ones. If I see a good opportunity to trade and it's a decent liquidity altcoin, I will take that trade. So I guess it just depends on the trade setup. Yeah. Thank you so much. Jesus Save 77, welcome in, man. It's good to see you in here. Yeah, we'll look at XRP. We'll look at, what was that, XPR and Metal. We'll look at some altcoins, guys, right now. And 119.8 high from Monday is the end of wave one. Okay, let me check what you're saying, Machi HK. So yeah, I think that's the end of wave one too. And we are now in a wave two. Yeah, exactly. Actually, Machi HK, you're right on with me, man. So we are looking at the bigger from 98.2K. We're looking at a double 1-2 impulse, right? And we hit right up into our third wave. We hit the exact target of that third wave being the 1.618. Now that we've had a couple 1-2s down here, we're expecting a couple 4-5s. So, 4, 5, 4, 5 here to finish this impulse from 98.2 up to new all-time highs. Now within that wave, we're looking for 2, 4, 5s now. Well, if this was the WXY correction ending here, taking out our range liquidity, now we're expecting a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for your first wave 5, right? That would be your first wave 5. I know this gets a little bit confusing if you're new to Elliott waves, but because we saw a wave 2 and then a sub wave 1 and a sub wave 2, we're looking for a 5-wave impulse, which is the 5th wave to push up here, which in that 5th wave, you're going to have a lower fractalized 5-wave impulse. Then we're going to be looking for another big 3-wave pullback, and then one more impulse in a wave 5 to overall in this double 1-2 impulse. So I agree completely with you, Machi HK. I think you're right on there. And I do think that low that we took out of the range on Thursday could have been the end of the bigger correction, and we could be about to impulse up in a 5th wave here. And that's why I'm really looking at that golden pocket, because in a wave 2 retrace, your most common target for a wave 2 is that golden pocket. Now, knowing that that golden pocket is also the midline of our descending channel, it's the value area low on Coinbase, and it's our major pitchfork midline support. That is what's giving me the attention to that specific level. Also, we're not really seeing the money flow really come to our side yet. You know, it's still looking pretty bearish here. So I expect that continuation of a grind down, at least until we see some sort of bigger bull divs come in. If you guys watched my video yesterday, we were checking the 15-minute time frame a lot, because on a lot of these altcoins, we were getting some big bull divs on a lot of the altcoins. Like if we go into Ethereum here, as we were grinding down here, you can see that nice bull div, you know, lower lows on the price action, higher lows on the momentum waves, and NAMI had really nice bull divs. Let me pull this up here. All these bull div signals in the hidden bull div signal in there, money flow coming to the upside on both NAMI and market side for B. So we were expecting a bit of a bounce, but we did talk about that bounce was most likely going to result in a lower high before coming lower. And if you guys want to see that, go watch the video yesterday. I explained that exact thing. Because we were only seeing 15-minute and under bull dips. We're not seeing, 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour. And if this is going to be the end of our correction that's 3 weeks long, we expect to see some sort of at least 1 hour, 2 hour bull dips. And now we are getting, with that new low that we made today, we are seeing some bull divs on the chart. Let me go to the 1 hour chart. Lower lows, higher lows here. But money flow is still not in our favor. And remember, one drive of bull div is not going to overpower bearish money flow. And so as long as we have this bearish money flow, I'm going to want to see a little bit lower, potentially another drive, a chopping around here. We could chop around here all day and then come down, see something like this, another drive of bull divs here, allowing that money flow kind of time to bottom out and start coming up. I know my drawings aren't the cleanest looking for you guys to follow, but that's what I'm looking at, continuing to grind down. Okay, 19K. What's the most optimal time frame for macro Elliott wave theory? I would say the daily time frame and higher. Honestly, like there's a few macro Elliott people that the daily is like the least they'll go on, because I agree, false prophet, I agree with you that Elliott waves on the macro time frame, they are much better, because trading is based off human psychology, and that's pretty much what Elliott wave theory is a bit based off of, is human psychology and the way humans have been trading, and the psychology of trading over the last 100 years, which hasn't changed, and that's why Elliott waves work. But when you try to get on too little of time frames, that's when there's imperfections in the market. And if I've seen some people try to count the 1 minute and the 5 minute, and they're counting every little candle, and it just gets so overly confusing, and it ends up messing up this over analysis from paralysis, or you make one mistake in a micro count and it throws off your macro count. So I do say, and Coons was the one who talked about this a lot, and I've really stuck to this from his suggestion of this: do not count on lower than the 15-minute time frame, and generally the 1 hour time frame is really the lowest I like to count on, because if we're looking at going under that, then you're starting to get into the weeds a bit there. There's imperfections in the market, there's grinds that happen in the market, and if you're looking at every single little grind, it's just going to give you're not going to get a clear signal. On topic, we get to follow Elliott's, and we should never neglect them. Yeah, I think I do think Elliott wave theory is one of the best theories in the market, one of the best trading styles in the market to predict where price action is going to go. Now, yes, as traders, what we do is we map out our key levels of support and resistance, and we be ready to execute no matter which one comes. We really don't have a bias. We just execute whichever comes if we have confirmation to execute. But if you're trying to develop a bias, because let's be real, as humans, we all have biases. The goal, though, is not to like become a bull, like rooting for your favorite football team. Oh, I'm bullish and now I'm a bull. I'm only going to see upside. Or I'm bearish. I'm a perma bear. I'm only going to see downside. As a trader, you got to get rid of that emotional state of thinking and trading. You just got to be as neutral as you can. Look at the charts and map out those levels and allow the chart to do what it's going to do and just be ready to execute no matter where it's at. Mapping out the correct levels is obviously important, but and then you could have a theory like my overall theory on Bitcoin from 98.2 is that we are going to come higher because we are in an impulse up from 98.2 that hasn't completed. So that's why I've been expecting this last 3 weeks is a corrective range before overall taking out the all-time high and coming up a little bit higher here. But low time frame, I'm mapping out my levels of support and resistance, and I'm just waiting. I'm waiting until it gets there. I'm not going to try to FOMO in the middle of nowhere. I'm going to wait and be patient. And, I see a lot of people, they make mistakes because they try to overtrade. They feel like they have to get in 15 trades a day, or they feel like they have to always be in a position. And that is part of the psychology of trading is learning to be patient, learning to sit on your hands and learning to wait for the market to come to your setups, not chasing the market price action. So, that's, I would say I had to learn that the hard way as well. Yeah. Okay. You're saying we are correcting on BTC and alts, but BTC is going to crash. Yes. So Muslin MCD, we are correcting and we're almost to our support level. So if we come to our support level and Bitcoin starts to bounce and at least come to the highs of the range, we know if Bitcoin is still just overall sideways ranging, but it's coming up in the range, then we see altcoins generally start to pump and Bitcoin dominance will drop because if Bitcoin dominance is dropping, that altcoins are going to be pumping against Bitcoin. But even you guys saw that even when Bitcoin over the weekend and on Monday, as Bitcoin was dropping here, altcoins got a lot bigger of a drop. We really didn't go anywhere. We're still within our range, correcting sideways. But because Bitcoin was dropping within the range, altcoins were dropping. Now, if we come down to our local support level, Bitcoin bounces and starts rising, we're still really just trading sideways within our range, but altcoins tend to pump a lot more. Just like yesterday, altcoins dumped a lot more than Bitcoin. So yes, I do expect us to overall kind of continue to range on Bitcoin, drop a little bit range overall within this range. And if Bitcoin dominance crashes from that channel, that's when I expect altcoins to really outperform Bitcoin. No, Bitcoin dominance is, and if it goes up, then alts likely will die. Yes. If Bitcoin dominance goes up, it's an inverse to it's an inverse to altcoin price action. So if Bitcoin dominance is going up, generally it doesn't mean alts are going to die, but it means that Bitcoin is outperforming the altcoins. So Bitcoin is stealing the show. So um yeah, if Bitcoin dominance is going to keep exploding, then that means Bitcoin's probably going to be breaking out of this range and the money's going to start rotating back into Bitcoin again. We'll probably see the alts pump with Bitcoin, but just not as much as Bitcoin. And then when Bitcoin starts to kind of start to range or correct, then the altcoins could start popping off again. Kajus, Machi just posted it right for Yakuns Trading. That's the guy. He's the best there is. Perma Bronco, baby. There you go, Melissa. That's the Broncos, huh? I guess you could be worse than that. So no hate there, no hate at all. Okay, let's go into some of the altcoins real quick. So I'll cover XRP right now, and then we'll go into XPR and Metal, but we will go into a lot of the major altcoins, guys, because we are seeing some big opportunities come up for some of these altcoins where I think that if we play this right, we can get some decent swing long opportunities on some of these altcoins. A lot of this overall technical analysis hasn't changed since last Friday. Last week, we were hitting into our 1.618 on XRP, and we were expecting that we could reject from this 1.618, seeing a bit of a three-wave move down, and we were really looking between the 0.382 and the 0.5. And I was saying that daily in the middle. It's in our box. is a level that I would be interested in. Now you can see last week we did have that push down. We hit into that 0.382. We got a decent bounce up, but we're not done. As far as time goes, generally, let me hide some of this stuff. Let me clean this chart up just a second for you guys, and then we'll talk about this. So generally, in your corrective move, your wave 4, it's longer than your wave 2. So if we're looking at this push up from our macro logarithmic 382 tap, once we hit this area of support, I was expecting, once we saw this bullish reaction from this 382, I was expecting new all-time highs. So we had our big multi-month complex correction in here, hit into our macro 382, saw a very strong reaction. So right there, this my bias really started here for macro bullishness on XRP. We pushed up in an impulse to the value area high of our 7-month range and to the top of the channel. We rejected. We came down to our macro log golden pocket, or not log golden pocket, our macro golden pocket. So this being a wave 1, this being our wave 2, you expect the wave 3 to push up to the 1.618 or higher. We pushed right up to that 1.618. Now we're seeing that perfect rejection from the 1.618. We're expecting a bit of a 3-wave corrective move down between the 0.382 and the 0.5. But if you're looking time-wise, let's just do this. From the highs of wave 1 to the lows of wave 2, that was a 39-day correction on XRP. And generally your wave 4 correction is longer or as long or similar in time to your wave 2 correction. And so this push down that we saw on, let me back that up. This push down that we saw on XRP from the highs to the lows here. Sorry guys, let me clean this up and get in here better. You know, 6 days. It's not even a quarter of the amount of time. So we're expecting a little bit longer within this overall 4th wave in XRP to correct down. And we have hit our minimum target being the 382. We did see a nice reaction from that 382, but I want to see that bigger 3-wave corrective move that lasts a little bit longer, coming down to 278, to that golden pocket, or that 0.5, excuse me, the 0.5 area of support. And then we could see, after seeing this bigger 3-wave corrective move, then we would expect our last 5th wave pushing up on XRP, making new all-time highs and completing this overall 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. Bigger impulse. So yeah, looking at XRP, you know, even locally here, I still kind of expect a little bit more upside on XRP because once again, in these 3-wave corrective moves, you often, that lower high that's created here often rejects from the golden pocket. Not every time. Often on altcoins, it goes to the 786. But if we pull a Fibonacci, we can even do it from this low. It's pretty much the equal high there, or that high. We have not even come up and hit that golden pocket yet. And so we could be seeing a little bit more of a complex correction in here, which does make sense because we need some time to pass. Complex corrective moves where we, you know, kind of see something like this, a push up and, you know, some sort of flat in here, and then that one last push down. And so locally, if you're looking at XRP very, very locally, trade the range. Let's zoom in on the 30-minute chart. For the past couple of days, since bouncing from that 382, you could just look at that range here. Trade this small range, or if you want to pull from the 1.618, you can look at the entire correction that we've seen so far from the highs. And you can look at this range. Now that value area high is close to your golden pocket. So that's, if we're going to push up locally, this is your general area of rejection. Is going to be in this general area. I would be expecting rejection. If we're going to continue to drop, if we drop down to the value area low, I would expect to see the liquidity grab of this into your daily. Yes, you would be deviating that value area low, but you would want to see that. Liquidity grab into your daily, push up. That could be a 3-wave corrective move in a W. We could get a bigger X up to that golden pocket and then another Y down to your 0.5, and that would give you more time. series of 3-wave moves in a complex correction. Yeah, what's up, T-Mac? Welcome in, man. It's good to see you. And Frank Ford, thank you. I appreciate that comment, man. So yeah, guys, XRP overall, I do expect that corrective move to kind of continue down to that 278 level, but we might see this range continue, and we haven't pushed up to that golden pocket yet. So pretty much the same thing I said on Friday's stream. I would like to see us come up and hit this golden pocket. You can see we do have some naked daily point of controls, and specifically this naked daily point of control right at 278. High volume node right down there. I would expect us to come down and hit that. You can see on our first major dump, where did we stop? Hit into a naked daily point of control, saw a strong bounce from that naked daily point of control. Now, we do have one naked daily point of control ahead of that, but it's in between, it's underneath your daily, and it's not down to your 0.5. So as far as confluence goes, this level here is the level that I'm really interested in. And if we do start to bounce from 278, I'm looking for potential swing long opportunities on this sucker to bring up to like $4 or higher. You know, XRP could really take off, and the fundamentals on XRP right now are super amazing. Like XRP is partnering with Bank of America, trying to get payment rails going for them. Like there's a lot of really fundamental bullish news on XRP where I'm really looking for those potential swing long opportunities. Now, also, if we're just looking at our confirmations, you know, our money flow is still about to cross over into the red on Market Cipher B here. And we were seeing those bear divs coming up into that 1.618. Higher highs in the price action, lower highs in the momentum waves. Your money flow is crossing out. You can also see those bear divs that were happening on NAMI. Money flow is in the red and still draining out. I don't know if that's hard for you guys to see, but we're not really seeing the macro support signals that we want to see, confirmation signals to be like longing the bottom of a bigger corrective move. So I think that we're going to chop around for a bit, potentially come up to that 338 to 340 level before seeing that move down to 278, whereas where my real interest for a potential swing long is going to be right at that 278 level. Okay, thoughts on Tau? We'll go through Tau. No, Machi HK, you didn't miss Ethereum. We just went into XRP first. So yeah, that's about it for XRP. And really, I'm not interested locally on anything on XRP. Maybe a rejection. I might look for a short from this general area, value area high, golden pocket. If we do come up there, once again, guys, like look at this gap in the volume here on this range, because we're really looking at two separate ranges. Let me zoom in on this. On the 2-hour chart, if we look at this volume gap in here. So, you know, we kind of started to fill it in, and we rejected, which was actually very surprising for me. I expected to continue to push up through the gap up into that golden pocket. But if we look at this as two separate ranges, micro ranges, we have our upper range here, and then we have our lower range down here with that kind of impulse down, micro impulse down here. And so that value area low of our previous range is going to be in confluence of that golden pocket. And that would be the area where, you know, this was considered your fair value for a short period of time. You lost it. You're starting to create a new fair value. If you come back up, you back test what used to be considered undervalued and you reject from that, then you expect to continue, you know, overall that momentum to the downside. So that would be my area for shorts that I'm looking at, is this general area. And then for long positions, I would be interested in taking the SFP of Wednesday's lows into the daily, like an SFP into a daily level. That would be good for me to look at. I would, if we got the confirmed SFP. Now remember, with a swing failure pattern trade, you are looking to come down, pierce the level of the low, which in this case is 295.45. So you'd want to pierce 295.45, hit into that daily level, start to see a bounce from the daily, and only once we reclaim 295.45 will I be looking for long. I'm not going to long the daily because we could just dump right through it and continue down. What I'm going to be looking for is a bounce from the daily, your local support right below those lows, and then once we reclaim those lows, then you can enter long upon the reclaim of those lows. It gives you a really good risk management because you can set your stop right under where that wick was, right under that daily. And for me, I would be targeting the, you know, probably these lower highs in here. That's if we drop straight down right now. If we do come up to the golden pocket first, we'll reassess that once if that happens. But I mean, for me, this would be really that SFP of these highs or taking out of these highs into this golden pocket. That's a 10 to 1 risk reward ratio there. That would be a good scalp for me. And then the scalp short would be this golden pocket down to take out these range lows. But our bigger trades that we're looking at, we really want to pay attention to this 278, really closer to 279 level. And if we do get down there with bull divs on the chart, you bet I'll be looking for a potential swing long opportunity. Okay, let's go through Ethereum real quickly, guys, and then we will go through some of those altcoins that are requested. But Ethereum is pretty simple. We're still ranging within the range. We're above our macro pitchfork band, so let me go ahead and hide some of these levels really quickly here. Okay, so we're zooming out onto the daily time frame. We're breaking above the macro 4-year long range value area high. So this is what's super important. You can see this range goes all the way back to May of 2021. It's the upper price action of Ethereum after seeing this very explosive impulse to the upside. Now we're on log scale. It's important to be on log scale when you're looking at such high swings and volatility of price action and time-wise as well. So in this upper range that we've been in, kind of price discovery for 4 years on Ethereum, you can see that we're breaking out of we bounced from the value area low of the range down here. We chopped around the point of control for a couple weeks. We flipped it to support in here for a couple weeks. We pushed up to our pitchfork band. We chopped around within our pitchfork band, formed that range that often forms within these bands, broke above the midline, held the midline for a couple months, saw a drop to our local golden pocket and our anchored VWAP. So this was important too, because this anchored VWAP has been your bullish trend. It's your volume weighted bullish trend. Let's just say that. VWAP stands for volume weighted average price, but your trend was bullish. So if you're expecting bullish momentum to continue, you expect to bounce from the average volume average of that level. It's almost like a value area low or value area high. We did bounce from that volume, that VWAP. Guess what? After bouncing, we finally were able to break above the midline and really start to break up to the upper band. Now, at the upper band, we really didn't find resistance. We came above it, breaking above the value area high as well. And you can see now we have broken above the value area high and the band, back tested on the daily time frame. We did see some wicks back within the band, but no daily candle closes back within the band, and we're continuing to hold. I think that Ethereum might push up to this daily first at 39.87, but we have not back tested this macro value area high since breaking above it. We have not back tested the pitchfork band, the lower part of the pitchfork band. We did back test the upper part of the pitchfork band. So what I would be expecting is this kind of slow continuation to happen here, where you start to see that exhaustion very, very locally, reject from that daily, and then we could come down, back test that macro value area high in confluence with the bottom of the pitchfork. We also have that local liquidity that's resting right down there. Okay, that area of support, and then we continue up to 45.34. But overall, I'm expecting that bigger push up to 45.34 based off the Elliott waves on the bigger daily time frame impulse. We're looking at that, if we're looking from the lows of this cycle, a big wave 1 here, our wave 2 retrace, our wave 3 generally will bring you to that 1.618. Well, we've been working very nicely through this pitchfork. The top of the pitchfork is at that 1.618. I mean, how perfect of confluence can you get there? Yes, you will see within your wave 3, this wave 3 up to 45.34, you will see pullbacks along the way. Pullback here, a little bit of a range here. Could we come up here and then do a wave 4 range here, complete your wave 5 inside your third wave? Then you'll see your bigger fourth wave that will take probably a couple months, just like this wave 2 did. It was like 60, 70 days. And then your wave 5 to complete the big weekly, the bigger daily impulse to the upside. So that's what I'd be looking at for Ethereum. Overall, I'm bullish. My bias is bullish overall. Locally, we are ranging, and I even like that 36.30. Let's zoom in here onto the hourly chart, and we can just look at the range that we're in on Ethereum. We're in this little bit of a range, so let me turn that on. Here, we we did reject from a daily earlier today too. So let me turn on that. That's a fresh daily level that was confirmed yesterday. You can see we fell back with inside the volume profile of our local range. We were getting those 15-minute bull divs that were happening in here. If you guys watched my video yesterday, I talked about this. 15-minute bull divs that were forming here. Higher lows, money flow coming up. Higher lows here, money flow coming up. Crossing into the green for NAMI. So we expected a little bit of a bounce from that point of control. But overall, we expected to make a lower high. And if we look at, once again, guys, golden pockets, most common area, from the high of the weekend to the low yesterday, where did we reject? Golden pocket area, golden pocket daily. It was pretty much right in confluence with each other. So rejected that golden pocket daily, and now we've come down and we've taken out our lows from yesterday, but we're rejecting and we're losing. If we lose this point of control, I expect a move to continue a bit further down within this volume profile, but actually zooming out here. So let me delete this daily now that we've tapped into that daily. We can get rid of this. I do expect a bit of a bigger move down, potentially coming down to our macro value area low. Until we lose our value area low, I'm not concerned with coming down to this area, but I still think overall we do need to backtest the high time frame value area high, and it's going to be in confluence with the bottom of our band as well. And generally you do backtest these bands. Yes, we have backtested the top of the band on the daily time frame. This is just wickage underneath. Our local range lows have not been taken out of our immediate range lows at 34.80. So I do think we could come down there, take out those range lows, and then continue to push up to this daily. And then, I think what I'm trying to say is I think we're going to see a little bit more chop, a little bit more range on Ethereum in here. Maybe come down here, grab that, and then continue to push up to that area. But overall, I expect us to come up to that 45.34 area. I would like to come down and backtest the bottom of the band. Oh, what am I doing here? Macro value area high at 34.40-ish in confluence with the pitchfork band. 34.40 to 34.60. All right, let me see. There you go. Yeah, well, thank you, Kara. Yeah, Coons is amazing, man. Coons is amazing. He's definitely better at pure Elliott waves than I am. But I just have a different style. One style is not necessarily better than the other style. Find a style that works for you. And once you start to get comfortable with that style, start to master that style and make it something of your own. I know that Coons doesn't use pitchforks at all. Well, I've learned a lot of Elliott Wave stuff from him, and I've combined it with pitchforks, and now I have my own style with Elliott Waves and pitchforks that actually, especially on higher time frames, really works well for swing positions for me. Like really, really well. And you guys will see if you continue to follow my channel over the months and years. These high time frame pitchforks in confluence with Elliott Waves give you great, great swing positions. Where you make your real money swing positions. If you would consider another way to join the Discord for us who can't leave their exchange. T-Matt, I can ask about that. I partnered with BYDFI, and part of their conditions for the partnership was that they have to be an affiliate of BYDFI. Now, you don't have to leave your old exchange to join a new one. I'm part of I won't say how many exchanges I'm signed up for, but I'm signed up for multiple exchanges, and I trade on multiple exchanges. So, because you never know if one's going to go down or not. And generally, even if you're trading Bitcoin coming down to 116.5, I will trade that on multiple exchanges generally. So, you could sign up even without leaving your current exchange. Yeah, we'll do Pepe, Thomas. Okay, let's get into some of the altcoins. So I'm going to go into XPR real quick, and then I know not a lot of people are interested in this altcoin, so we will get back into a lot of the other altcoins. the bigger altcoins that you guys are interested in, but I do want to cover XPR real quick. Post some altcoins in the chat and we'll start to go through some of those altcoins. Is this the right one? XPR? I thought I did some TA on this. Was it KuCoin? Yeah, it's KuCoin. Okay. And this is quite old. Well, we did local, but some of these levels. I still think that that really good resistance above us is still coming up to that golden pocket at 006-ish. But we're hovering around the value area high of your macro daily range. This is your range on the daily time frame. You can see that we broke above the pitchfork band. We back tested that pitchfork band on the daily time frame. And since backtesting that pitchfork band, we just keep butting our head up against this value area high. Well, eventually this value area high is going to break. Every time you bump up into it, it gets a little bit weaker and weaker and weaker. It's like poking holes in a piece of paper. You're poking holes, it's getting weaker. Eventually it's going to give out and you're going to see that explosion through it. Now, because we keep hitting into resistance here right before your golden pocket, there is a potential that we break through this golden pocket, break through this weekly and come up to this pitchfork midline. You know, you bounce from the lower band, held it as support. You could work your way up to the midline here. But I would be looking for almost that exhaustive type price action that we see where you start to get something like this in here. And you come up one more time, hit up into this golden pocket, reject from that golden pocket. If you reject from that golden pocket, you definitely would want to play it as a scalp at first, because if you come back down to your value area high and you bounce, you're probably going to expect to continue to work your way up. But if you reject from this golden pocket and you lose that value area high, man, you're going to be looking at a potential good short opportunity. Now, I would even take a scalp short from that golden pocket, from the SFP into a golden pocket. We've talked about swing failure patterns into golden pockets, a liquidity grab of a key high. This is your daily range lower high into your golden pocket. And then my first TP would be probably around this value area high if we start to bounce. If we don't start to bounce, so you kind of have to actively watch that. But even that drop there, like let's just say you short the SFP here, your stop is going to go above that high. And then like even that, you know, that's a 4-to-1 risk reward ratio, but that's a 12% move. Like that's a good move on altcoin. You know, that's a good scalp to start out with. And then if you lose the value area high, I would actually expect to come down and take out these lows into your naked weekly POC at 004-ish. Bottom of your pitchfork band, naked weekly POC. But you're just trading your range. So if I were you, I'd focus on this big daily range. We're at the value area high. We're attempting to break out of it. We are forming that descending channel that you often see in a wave 4 correction. So take your two lower highs, connect them, put it down to your initial range low. And now when we zoom in here, you'll see we are trading in a nice 2-hour descending channel here. Let's clean this up. There, and then we would actually bring it down to that. No. Yeah. And so we're trading within this descending channel. I would watch for, if you're looking at scalping this thing, like this internal low. Actually, we did take that one out. So now you're going to be looking at this internal low here. If you come down, you SFP that low into the bottom of the channel, because this corrective grind could just continue for a bit until it aligns with the backtest of the pitchfork band again. And then you could break up to it. But you can also pull your volume profile of this little range here. Okay, yeah, so makes sense. You know, the value area low is around your liquidity grab. So that's what I'd be looking for. If you're going to reject the value area high, you're looking for a move down to that POC. POC is trying to hold right now, and your midline's trying to hold. But if you come back up here again, you reject this, then I would look for a move down to grab that liquidity, and then that big push up to golden pocket. So locally, all I'd be looking at is the liquidity grab of 0046145 into your support. Overall bias is to come higher. Yeah, I think so. Overall bias is to come higher. I mean, this wick here kind of screws stuff up, and I don't know if it's on other exchanges, but if you're looking at this as like a wave one, your wave two, your big wave three here, you're in your wave four, and then your wave five, you're still looking for that impulse up. And taking out that liquidity, these semi-equal highs up here into your golden pocket would look nice. Okay, metal. Let's see, did I do Bybit? Is this it? No, that's Metex. Ooh, this thing looks like a rug to me. Is this the right one? Whoever asked me about that, is that the right one? The C wave target, Thomas, for a fib extension is the one between the 1-to-1 and the 1.236. So if you're looking at an ABC correction, let's just go here. Whether it's to the upside or to the downside, right? Your A wave, you're looking for a 5-wave sub count within that A wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Your B wave, you're looking for a 3-wave corrective move, generally bouncing from the golden pocket area, whether it's high or the low, but that's the most common area to bounce is that golden pocket. And then within your C wave, you're looking for another 5-wave impulse. But if you're trying to find that C wave target, you're going to take your trend based Fibonacci extinction. You're going to go from the lows of wave A to the highs of wave A to the lows of wave B. And your target is going to be between the most common targets is going to be between the 1-to-1 and the 1.236. So that would be your most common target for an ABC. In expanded corrections, you can go to the 1.382 or even in very rare cases up to the 1.618. But the most common targets are this box here. I hope that helps a little bit. Okay, not that one, Kenny. MEXC. Okay. Metal, USD, MEXC. Okay, yeah. All right, thank you. Well, this looks good right away. We are breaking above our pitchfork band, and we do say this a lot on the channel. You often form ranges within these bands, and it looks like we were forming a range within this band, and that range is starting to break to the upside now. You can see we are in this range. And let's pull the volume profile of this range, starting to break it to the upside. Actually, even it, let's just do all of it here. Yep. So rejected, back tested the lower part of the band in confluence with your point of control. Now you're breaking out of your value area, breaking above the top of the pitchfork band. I expect this thing to continue higher. I don't know. Yeah, you are starting to form some bear divs here on the chart, but money flow looks pretty good here. Man, I think let's zoom out to the daily. Let's look at this on the daily. Yeah, money flow's looking good here. We did print a hidden bull div a couple days ago on the lows. This thing might continue to push up here all the way up to the top of the pitchfork or to your 1.618. So remember, for that 3-wave move to the upside, 5-wave impulse, excuse me, you're looking for a 1, 2, your third wave often comes up to that 1.618. You see a 4 and then a 5. And you can even get the targets of the 5th wave a couple ways, but I would be expecting to push up to like that 37.5, 37.6-ish. Now that we're breaking above the midline and we have daily bullish momentum, money flow coming to the upside. Yes, we are starting to form some bear divs. So knowing that we have some bear divs ahead of us. Ooh, and look at this. On the daily time frame, our last big daily liquidity grab here before this, crazy waterfall to the downside. That SFP here, let me just mark that out as an SFP, liquidity grab on the daily, is right up into that 1.618. So I would honestly be expecting to push up to that 1.618. That also, now this, we're going to delete this. This would be your 5th wave target if we were looking at our third wave being done, but it doesn't look like your third wave is done here. So I would be looking at that push up, and actually let's repull that now. That's going to be the wrong fib extinction. There, 1.618. Okay, we're coming up to it right now. Coming up close to actually hitting it. So you could see a bit of a pullback from here. Let's see. Yeah. So Kenny, remind me on Thursday, if you're in the stream on Thursday, let's look at this and let's see if we actually rejected from this 1.618. But we're coming up to your third wave target. Now, it does not have to end here. This is the most common area for a third wave to end, but it does not have to. So let's see if we reject from this. But if we do reject from this, then we're going to be expecting that bigger fourth wave correction that will take some time, because just like with XRP, just like with all the other coins, we're looking for your fourth wave to be about the same length as your second wave here, which was 27 days. So if you're going to reject from here, you're going to see a bit of a kind of retrace down. And I would even be looking oftentimes in your bigger wave 4, you do retrace to the lows of your lower degree wave 4. So if we're looking at a lower degree 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in your third wave, you're going to look to come down to that lower degree. Yeah, I would be looking for some sort of liquidity grab in here. Not that one? Okay. Oh, okay. Which one is it? Will you just post the ticker symbol in the chat, and then I will go through that? But in the meantime, I know there's a lot of people interested in some other coins, so I'm going to go through some of the other coins. Solana. Guys, long story short, Solana is losing the value area high again of our macro range that goes back to the March highs, March 2024 highs. You can see we tried to pierce above that range. We did have our box of resistance in here, by the way, between 192 and $200. Wicked up just a little bit past it, but now we're falling back within that volume profile. And here's the thing. We fell back within the volume profile. We back tested it on the daily time frame, could not get back above it, and now we're dropping. So I expect, and we're looking for a three-wave corrective move as well. Remember that three-wave corrective move. So let's zoom in on, let's just do the 3-hour chart real quick. What we're looking at on Solana is in, we already hit this daily, so let me delete that. We're looking for that bigger three-wave corrective move in your ABC correction. Now, that 175 level was the level we did want to come down to. That's your lower degree wave 4, 0.5, and your higher 0.382, which is going to act as strong support there. So I would actually be looking for liquidity grab of that low. Here, we're starting to form this sideways range. If you just pull this sideways range here, upper price action, some people would call this a head and shoulders type of pattern. You can see the value area low of that range is going to be right on those lows. So a liquidity grab, value area low. We rejected value area high. But one of the main things that we should have been looking at is you pull a Fibonacci from the highs to your first initial dump lows. And where did we reject? You rejected on the lower high golden pocket. And what did I just talk about with ABCs? When you're looking at an ABC, your B wave generally rejects from that golden pocket area, and then you'll see a C wave push down. So if we're looking, let's do that trend-based Fibonacci extinction. 1-to-1, we're looking between the 1-to-1 and the 1.236. That 1-to-1 is near your key anchored VWAP. The only problem with that is we would be invalidating this impulse to the upside. Here, if we're looking at this as a bigger 1, 2, 1, 2, and then this was the start of your third wave, and now we're looking for a 4, 5, 4, 5, you know, a bigger 4, 5, 4, 5 to kind of in that, you know, contracting diagonal type of thing, then we do not want to hit the the golden pocket, excuse me, from the lows to the highs of wave 3. We do not want to hit this golden pocket. And unfortunately, that 1-to-1 target is right on that golden pocket. The thing is, if we're going to see a move down there, yes, you could still bounce from that because there is confluence for a bounce. But if we're going to do that, bounce here, I would really just be expecting to come back up to that value area high and reject that macro value area high and continue this bigger grind down. But overall, Solana does not look good, rejecting from that lower high golden pocket and then losing the value area high of our range that goes, our daily range that goes back to March of 2024. You know, those March highs 2024, we've been correcting sideways, tried to break out of that range, got a bit of failed auction type price action up in here, fell back within our range, back tested, bearishly rejected, and now we're back with inside the volume profile. So, you know, locally, yes, we do have some support that could hold us locally. It needs to hold us, or else we could see that bigger drop. And if we are going to see that bigger drop take place, if you take your golden pocket pull from the lows of this impulse to the highs of this impulse, that golden pocket coming in at 154 to 156 is going to be a really key level, because you can see your anchored VWAP is also there. And I would be looking at seeing at least some sort of bounce from there, even if it's to create a lower high and continue this drop down to the POC. Oh, what's up, Mark Dutch? Welcome in, man. Welcome in. Can you check CRV? Yeah, we'll check CRV. Yes, please, guys, hit the like button. If you got anything out of this video, please hit the like button. What's up, Darren Does Things? Thank you for sending that those indicators over, man. I appreciate that. And I haven't got a chance to fully explore them yet, but I am going to be looking into them. Okay, FET. Let me... Pepe. So let's do Pepe first right now, because that's been there for a while. Then we'll go into CRV, XRP, not XRP, Tau. I haven't done Pepe in a long time. We didn't quite make it down there. That's a shame. All right, Chainlink, H&T, Avi, Tau, CRV. Okay, we've got a lot of coins to go through, so let's go through them as quick. Like, we're not going to go so in depth on them, guys. We're just going to cover more macro price action. Looks like we broke out of this channel, so we can get rid of that. Yeah, this pitchfork looks pretty nice on Pepe. You know, we did have a nice bottom in here, some accumulation that occurred. You can see kind of your accumulation range. You broke out of that accumulation. Now you're back. Then you came and back tested that range accumulation, which is also the midline of the pitchfork. But did we reject? It looks like we're rejecting on a golden pocket 786 lower high. Yeah. So look at, we came up to our 786. We rejected our 786. There is a potential that we could continue this bigger three-wave corrective move to actually come hit that golden pocket that we had front run in that weekly. It would also be the bottom of our pitchfork band if we're going to dump really far down there. I don't, let's see, daily time frame. Money flow doesn't look the worst. It's looking like it wants to come up again, but no bull divs. No bull divs on the daily. Let's go to our 2-day chart. Yeah, money flow starting to try to curve over. Nothing yet. Okay, that's good. So if for Pepe, I'd be looking at this range that we on the daily time frame. Look at this sideways range from the, why is that not okay? From the highs of the impulse over, you're in this range. So you're at the value area low. Unfortunately for this, this does look a bit like a multiple 1-2. So you have your 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. You have your kind of contracting diagonal here, and then you broke up in your third wave. Do we have a 4-5-4-5? So this could have been done. This impulse could have been done here. You have your kind of 1-2s in here. You have your 4-5s in here. Now we're breaking down. So if that impulse is done and you're starting to break down, we're going to pull our golden pocket from the lows of the impulse to the highs of the impulse. And that golden pocket is going to be your higher low where you're going to want to come in. And that does have some really nice confluence with our pitchfork band. You can see on this pitchfork, so let me get rid of this for a second. On this pitchfork, we hit into the highs of the pitchfork, we retraced to the midline. We broke up above it, tried to back test it as support, but we made a lower high, chopped around the band for a bit, came down to the midline again. So this midline now on higher time frames is really holding as support. You can see it was acting as resistance in here, holding as support. But you can see once again, we came above the midline, above the pitchfork, tried to back test it and hold it as support, got a decent move up there. But now that we're falling back with inside it, and yesterday we closed the daily candle right on the pitchfork support. Today, once the daily candle opened, we're dumping through it. So it's showing that we want to find reacceptance back within this pitchfork. So if we're going to find reacceptance back within this pitchfork, we're going to fall to the next major pitchfork level of support. Well, where is that? That's going to be your golden pocket. So this is the area that I would be looking at to drop to on Pepe. Maybe not today, but this is the area where I'd expect us to drop to. Now, if we get there, we could try to see a bounce from that area. And we could even, let me hide this pitchfork for a second. And we could look at, I'm just going to delete that. We can look at a channel of descending channel that we're seeing on the daily time frame. Yeah, your midline's there as well. So that's going to be your confluence, that box between, what is that? 0.00001076 and 1053. If you bounce from there on the daily time frame, watch for a push back up to the top of that channel where we have a fresh weekly. If we reject from that weekly, I expect another move down to your weekly in support with the midline. And then, you could just chop around, forming your bigger range in here for a bit. You had your accumulation range down here. You pumped, had expansion. Now you're trying to form a new fair value for the asset of Pepe. That new fair value could be in that area. And that is our big daily range that we just pulled. You pull your volume profile. You look here. And yeah, so if we break where we're at now, which I do think you could see a small bounce from this value area low. There's probably not too much else in here. Let's see. That's probably your 0.5. Let's actually. Yeah, we've already even broken the 0.5. So you might see a small bounce from this value area low just because it is a value area low. And you might do something like this and then back test these prior lows in here and then lose it. Yeah. Mark, Darren, what were you, let Divine Hood give you an okay and I'll send you the link. For Darren, send me the link so I can share. Yes, you absolutely can. Darren does things. Send him the link and let Mark Dutch post it. Because Darren's got some indicators, you guys. Check them out. Check out his indicators and, test them out. Tell me what you think as well. Okay, my CVD and divergence indicators are goated. Yes, please. Darren does things. We'll post them in the chat. We'll have the community check them out as well. And thank you for sharing them with us. Okay, so Pepe, I would honestly be expecting on the daily time frame to come down to this level overall. You're also going to want to see that 3-wave kind of corrective move down. So if you're zooming out on the 4-hour chart, that looks like it could happen to me. I mean, that looks probable. We've already broken below our range lows on the 4-hour range, this upper range. We've broken below these range lows and we're not seeing the SFP. If you saw the SFP there, that would have been good. You could even look at this as some sort of wonky head and shoulders, like right shoulder head, left shoulder. I know that's really crappy looking, but you're going to break down, maybe to that weekly. I don't know. I'm not really trading the head and shoulders, but you're breaking this range. You could pull this small 4-hour range. You're breaking it to the downside. You're losing your value area low. You can see actually here, after grabbing the liquidity just yesterday, Monday, we came down. Well, actually, we didn't grab the liquidity. We saw a front run of the liquidity grab, but we rejected the value, trying to get back inside the volume profile. So now we're falling down to the macro value area low of our bigger volume profile. Um, I think we have a high probability of continuing down here. Money flow crossing over into the red, really bad looking. Look at these bearish divs that we were seeing coming up into your value area high. Like this here, higher highs in the price action. Once again, that ascending channel that I say, or ascending channel or rising wedge, you often see these, all these 1-2s in here, all these 1-2s, 1-2s. You have your big third wave, and then you get all your 4-5s in here. That impulse finishes. So after your impulse finishes, you're expecting to move down to the golden pocket. In a bullish case scenario, this is going to be, now this could be a good swing long. This box right here could be a very good swing long. I would want to see some at least 4-hour bull divs coming into that box, or 2-hour bull divs. But this here, higher highs in the price action, lower highs in the momentum waves here, money flow draining out of the asset, crossing into the red. You did print a hidden bear div on NAMI at the top up here, and you see those bear divs as well on NAMI and the money flow bear divs. Now, guys, so many people do not pay attention to the money flow bear divs on NAMI. NAMI, because the money flow is actual based off actual money flow and it's a bit more accurate, these money flow bear divs, lower highs in the money flow as we're making higher highs in the price action. That money flow bear div, as well as the momentum bear divs on Market Cipher B, hitting into your macro daily value area high, definitely looking for a rejection there, and definitely now looking to come down to this support level. You might see something like this. To come up, you get a small bounce from this value area low to back test the value area low of this range. So pull this range. Okay, this area here, you might come up, you might bounce from where we're at now to come up to, what is that, 012? If you come up here and you reject this, that could actually be a nice short position to bring down to that golden pocket. And then I would probably put my stop above those highs from yesterday. Yesterday's highs. Somewhere in there. Okay, that's it for Pepe. Let's go into, shoot, CRV. You guys, if you posted a altcoin in the chat and I haven't got to it, will you please repost it? Because now I've lost track of how many altcoins there are. So if you guys post them all at once, I'll kind of just go through them. Now, guys, CRV finally came up to our naked monthly point of control on our 786 we were looking for. We rejected that area, and we still have not come down to our level of support yet. Being our macro, let's zoom out onto the daily. So we have our macro volume profile value area high. This value area high, we broke out of this volume profile. You can see here, this goes all the way back to the lows. Let's see, November of 2022, kind of this accumulation range that we've been in. Breaking out of that volume profile, we did see a perfect rejection from the value area high, got our rotation down to our logarithmic golden pocket. Now we're pushing up. Now, unfortunately, you want to see this wave 3 continue up to 132. Remember, that was where our wave 3 target was. But if we do this here, your 1-to-1 target is coming up at 121 in confluence with that weekly. So in a bearish case scenario, you might see that bigger 3-wave correct to move up to 121 and then really start to dump on this thing. I don't think that's the highest probability, but we do need to pay attention to that. Either way, locally, now that we've hit into our naked monthly point of control and our macro 786 Fibonacci, that Fibonacci was pulled from the highs to the lows here, and it's your 786. Now that we've hit into those 786 monthly naked point of control, and we're seeing a rejection and even flipping bearish on low time frame market structure, we're back within our small range. I expect us to come down to the lows of that range. Let's now zoom in on the 2-hour chart. So we have this range that we've been in for a couple weeks now, for like 3 weeks or so. So I would expect us to continue down here. Let's pull our volume, or not our volume profile, our Fibonacci from the last range lows up to our highs. Okay, we're coming down to our 786. Today, we're attempting to bounce from that 786. Now, we do have some 2-hour bull divs on the chart, but I don't think this is going to sustain us. So lower lows, higher lows here, but your money flow looks like garbage. Your money flow is always going to overpower that. You do have some bull divs here on NAMI, but I would be, honestly, I'd be expecting to come down to that box that I've had down here for weeks now. Yes, we did come up to our naked monthly before coming down. I really wanted to come down into our box right here. We had front run that range low and we pushed up to the naked monthly at first. But it now, if we come down, take out your range lows into your box, we do have a monthly level that's at 8924, 8924. Now that monthly's not naked, it's been hit into, but let's go on to the weekly here. Okay, weekly, there's nothing there. And let's look at our dailies because I do believe we bounced from a daily. Okay, there's a daily there. That's been hit. Yeah, that's where we bounced at that daily. So we had a daily in here. We bounced from it. We came up to our naked monthly point of control. So now there's no real support levels. We're at our 786. If we lose this 786, I think we're coming down to our macro value area high. Now we can repull this 382. So that 382 is going to be pulled from the lows. Let me get this. So it's from the lows of our impulse to the highs, but now we're going to move it up to the actual highs. Yeah, look at where that 382 is coming in now. Right around that SFP. Let me double check one thing here. I'm pretty sure that's more than a 100% move to the upside. Yeah, 136%. So we're going to take that 382 and let's turn it based off log scale. Okay, that's a little bit better. So I would say we have a potential to drop to like now, I would say 86 to 83 cents. This general area here. Your macro value area high retest, you'd be grabbing your range liquidity, and then you have your macro 382. Because remember, in a strong trend, you can't get much stronger than this. In a strong trend, that 382 is going to act as support, and you will continue to work your way up here. And if this is a wave 3, then we do expect to continue to push up. If this is a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, we expect to continue to push up aggressively. So within your wave 3, you're going to see those pullbacks. Then you expect to continue to push up in that wave 3. So for me, 86 to 83 cents is going to be the level. Of course, because of all these semi-equal lows here, you can see all of these semi-equal lows around 90 cents. I would look for that liquidity grab. If you do see a liquidity grab there and get above it, I would still attempt that long position. But the main area of support that I'm going to be looking at is this guy right in here. 86.6 to 83.2. And then above us, now that we've hit this naked monthly point of control, we can get rid of it. We've hit into our 786. We can get rid of that. The next level above us is that weekly in confluence with that 1-to-1. And that is going to be in your bearish case scenario, that will be where you top out. So there's a potential that you continue to kind of grind in here, take out your range lows, see that continuation up to the weekly and the 1-to-1, and that starts your grind, your overall kind of grindy type price action where you end that impulse and then you see that's in a macro bearish scenario. You're going to end that weekly and then you can see a much bigger dump on curve. The money flow on the daily time frame does not look good right now. Sorry, on the 4-hour time frame does not look good right now. And you were seeing those bear divs. Like, hold on, let me get rid of these. Higher highs in the price action, lower highs in the momentum waves, and your money flow was already consistently draining out of the asset, about to cross over into the red. Not good, not a good sign at all there. I would like to see a continuation down here. You're below your point of control of your smaller range. So moving down to the 7/8 to the value area low, which is also going to be that 886 is going to be right around there. So that 886 value area low could give you a little bit of a bounce, but I really expect to come down and at least take out 90 cents. Take out 90 cents, come preferably to 86.6, 86.7. Okay, guys, real quick, I do have a couple partners of the channel. I just want to mention them real quick. BYDFI is a VPN free and KYC free exchange. I've partnered with them to create a Telegram group, and I do post some of my trade setups in there. I generally only post right now I've been focusing more on scalp trading, but I'm in the next few weeks here when we get those big swing long opportunities on altcoins, I'm going to post those ahead of time. And so if you guys are interested in potentially taking some of those swing long opportunities with me, the way to get into that Telegram group is you have to sign up under my affiliate link and deposit $100. First of all, you'll get a 50% deposit bonus just for signing up and depositing $100. That's a really good deposit bonus. You'll get 17% discount on your trading fees, and then you can get access to that Telegram group. In order to get access, the Telegram group is in the link in the descriptions. Click on it. Once you're in the group, you have to type in the /verify and then your user ID number, and it will automatically put you in that group. So /verify and whatever your user ID number is. If you guys are interested in that, the next partner of the channel is NAMI here, NAMI Trading. This is a momentum and money flow indicator that I use for confirmations to enter and exit trades. They're doing that 50% off special, but I don't know how much longer it's going to last. So if you guys are interested, False Prophet was generous enough to give me a 50% off special for my new users, my new community that I'm starting up. And if you're interested, both the links are in the description. Divine50 is the discount code. We do have MEXC. If you deposit $100, you'll get $20 free as a deposit bonus, and you can earn up to $300 in futures trading. And then we have Bybit as well. Bybit's one of the largest derivative platforms, derivative exchanges in the world, and they are offering up to $30,000 in various bonuses depending on how much trade volume you do and how much you deposit. So all those links are in the description if you guys are interested. Okay. FET, we do have FET. We have Link, FET. Let's do Chainlink real quick because I am actually... Chainlink, we are still in that corrective move. We did grab our range liquidity. Remember, we talked about that last Friday. Grabbed your range liquidity. You came up and made a higher low into your 786 level. You hit into your 786. You rejected. Actually, we didn't quite hit it, but it's your general area between the 786 and the golden pocket. So we rejected this level. I expect us to come down to take out these lows now, seeing that bigger three-wave corrective move. So let's take our trend-based Fibonacci extinction. Yeah, and look at where your 1-to-1 is, right at your 0.5, which is your fourth wave target between the 382 and the 0.5. So I would be looking around that 16.5 area to look for a potential long opportunity, because if we're looking at this as a 1, 2, 1, 2, your big third wave here, we're going to see a 4 and then a 5, 4, 5 to finish this impulse to the upside. That 0.5 is your wave 4 corrective target, and then we would expect an impulse up to at least come take out these highs. So that's a decent trade if you can get into that long opportunity around this area. You know what we'll do? We'll set an alert there. Obviously, I would probably wait for a bounce. Your stop is going to go below the low, so you're probably going to enter a little bit late there. But then I would be targeting the highs, the SFP of the highs into the value area high that was never hit. We front ran that value area high, the macro value area high. That's a pretty much a 9-to-1 risk reward trade there. So let's do this. Let's set an alert here. If we lose $16, we're probably going to come down to that $14 level. I hate to say it. Our invalidation for the impulse, let me just get rid of some of this. Our invalidation for the impulse would be hitting this golden pocket at 15.6. So we really don't want to hit 15.6 to 15.3. If we do that impulse, that just means this impulse is no longer valid. And then in that case, what we would be expecting is a bigger retrace down to the golden pocket of the entire move, right? From the lows of the move to the highs of the move. This golden pocket at 14.5, I'm going to say 14.5. You can see our macro POC is there. Anchored VWAP is starting to get a little bit above that, but that would be your main area. And on the daily time frame, this is our upper range that we've been trading. So we didn't quite hit the value area high, and that's why I think this impulse might not be done yet. This impulse here Might not be done yet, but if we do lose 16.5, I ultimately expect to move down, maybe a bounce from the daily because your anchored VWAP is going to be right around there. I ultimately expect to move down to that golden pocket, and hopefully that golden pocket and macro point of control will hold, and then we can make another shot at coming up to the value area high or even breaking that, flipping it, and really taking off here. Money flow on the daily doesn't look too bad. Actually, it looks pretty good here. Hidden bull div printed on last Wednesday. We did get a little bit of a move up from that over the weekend, ultimately creating a lower high. So because we're looking for that bigger three-wave corrective move down in a wave 4, I'm expecting a move down to the 0.5, where if we do come down there, I personally will be looking for longs. You guys see I just set an alert there. Only if we have bullish dips. Like you can see here, we're having some, money flows aggressively leaving the asset on the 4-hour. Let's check the 1-hour out here. Yeah, 1 hour's just crossing into the red here. NAMI looks bad on money flow as well. I expect us to continue down. At the very least, we're so close to grabbing our range lows here that I expect us to come down and take out these range lows at 17.17. And then if you pull your volume profile of this upper range, well, we're at the value area low, but you would probably see a little bit of a wick down to take out that liquidity. Money flow doesn't look good here. Let's see, 15-minute chart. Are we going to get a little push up? Nah, I mean, we're starting to see some bull divs here on the 15-minute. Lower lows through all this, higher lows through all this. Your money flow is curving to the upside, but it's leaving again here. Bull divs throughout the day here on NAMI. So you might get a small bounce from where we're at right now, being the value area low of our like 2-week long range. But I would expect another lower high to come in, maybe a rejection from this anchored VWAP/VWAP area right above you, and then continuation down to take out your range lows. So what is that? That's at like $18. 16.5 is where I'm looking at. And then if we do come up, remember this value area high was not hit. It was front run. So we do have an SFP into that value area high. 20.28 up to about 20.35. That could be a nice little short if we confirm that. So you'd want to see the pierce after, maybe you come down here, you grab this, get back within your volume profile, pierce above it, hit into the value area high. Once you lose it, then you can look for the short. Okay. Tau, Tao. Let me just double check these chats, guys. Tau. Okay, so we got Tau. Grotto, I'm sorry, I didn't see that. I'm going to check Tau for you right now. Tau, and then we can look at, we did ETH, we did Pepe. Ave, yes. Sorry, Granda. We'll do Ave, we'll do Tau. We'll do, and Kinney, let me know about that metal, and we'll look at metal as well. Uh, T1 DDT, are those, Mark Dutch, are those T1 and DDT, are those like coins that you're wanting to look at, or is that some lingo that I don't quite understand yet? Okay. All right, let's see here. SEC officially allows crypto ETFs to create and redeem shares using Bitcoin and Ethereum directly instead of cash. Wow, that's pretty awesome. If that really starts to take effect, then that's gonna be great. Okay, Tao, let's go through this real quickly here. Is that it? I guess so. Looks like we're rejecting from that resistance that we marked out, but let's just get rid of this. Yeah, rejecting from the 786. This does look like a pretty clean impulse to me on the daily time frame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have your 5-wave impulse. Now we're expecting, because that 5-wave impulse completed, it looks like this might have been some sort of flat correction in here. Actually, that's, yeah, this looks kind of like a triangle in here. Broke down, took out, then we broke it up, took out the highs, and now we're, after that we saw our 3-wave move down. But this is all part of probably a more complex correction down, and we're looking, now that that impulse on the daily completed, we're looking for a move generally down to the golden pocket to create a higher low. So we'll pull our fib from the lows to the highs, and actually you're going to pull it to the high of the impulse. Even though this took it out, that was a corrective move. This golden pocket, okay, we already bounced from the golden pocket, but was that almost 200% move? So let's take this and let's make this based off fib scale, log scale. Yeah, so this is your proper 61% retrace. So I would be looking to come down to this area, and if we pull our trend-based Fibonacci extinction, your 1.236 is right down there as well. And so that would be your ABC correction target, or your bigger correction target here, coming down to that area. So that would be a potential swing long opportunity for me. This guy in here, 236. What is that? Sorry, 254 to 244. But we can also pull a bearish pitchfork from your last major daily highs down to your corrective lows, up to your impulse highs, and we're going to be looking at a skiff pitchfork. Yeah, that midline is really going to be the spot. So, but you can see in the meantime, you're probably going to drop down, come down to this weekly and this pitchfork band. You know, you're probably, let's see, we're breaking our range down today. This range, this upper range that we see, we're starting to break it down. So let's clean up this chart. Tried to get above the pitchfork. We could not. We created that topping reversal pattern, left shoulder ahead, right shoulder, starting to break that down now. So I would expect to break down. And if we look at just this smaller range in here, we're going to go from our last lows to our highs, and we're just going to go to our regular golden pocket. Yeah, I like this golden pocket coming in here in that pitchfork band area. So I would expect this move, this drop right now. We do remember our dead cat lows of this range. We're about to take those out. You could see a small bounce from that 373.5 liquidity grab, but I would ultimately be expecting for this to continue down into this general area, the golden pocket area, and that's your pitchfork band area. You could see a bounce from here to back test that range that we're breaking down from. So pull your volume profile. And actually, I would even just look at this upper part. See a bounce from that golden pocket, come back up, back test that value area low, and then continue to work your way down. By that time, your weekly might be in confluence with the bottom of the pitchfork band. You're going to bounce there, and you're just going to grind your way down ultimately to that level. Or you're going to see, like see how when we were grinding down in here, it wasn't straight down. It was bounces along the way. So you're going to see generally this type of price action over here as well, mimicked. Let's see. Something like this breaking down. So bounces like golden pocket bounce, maybe come up to the, something similar to this. Because you want to see some sort of symmetry in the ABC. overall, I would say we are looking, I mean, and look at this, how we were forming here. Higher highs in the price action, lower highs in the momentum waves, and your money flows draining out and crossing over into the red. Yeah, I would say we are going to drop further on this thing overall. 12-hour bear divs, money flow draining out of the asset. We did print a hidden bear div signal on the last rejection of the pitchfork. Very, very important there. So Tau for me, at least locally, this correction is going to continue. We had our 5-wave daily impulse that completed to the upside. Zooming back out onto the daily. Very, very clean, very clear 5-wave impulse here. Five-wave impulse completed. So now you're expecting that larger, longer corrective move gently down to your logarithmic golden pocket at the midline. With small bounce along the way. Watch for a small bounce at this golden pocket in confluence with the pitchfork band. And then also the weekly, I would say the weekly could give you some sort of bounce. But we did have, let's see here. Naked monthly point of controls right below that golden pocket. Naked weekly's also there. So yeah, this golden pocket here, but you might wick even a little bit past it. I like how the golden pocket's in confluence with your midline of your bearish pitchfork. And it looks, I mean, I know this is like the whole life of Tau. Let's pull a volume profile after the last initial dump there, or the first initial dump. Ooh, you know that value area low is in confluence with that naked weekly and that naked daily. Very close confluence there. Let's look at our non-logarithmic 786. Not quite. Okay. So yeah, our non-log, because a lot of people don't know how to don't know if it's more than 100% move to the upside to switch that fib to log scale. We've already bounced from our golden pocket. If we look at this same Fibonacci pull here, from the lows of the impulse to the highs of the impulse, and we turn on both the golden pocket and the 786, you can see that we bounced from the golden pocket already. Actually, not even quite made it to the golden pocket. But that 786 is coming in with a naked weekly and a naked monthly point of control at 232. So 254 to 244. If we break that, 232 is the level. But eventually, I honestly, it's going to take time to grind down, of course. But that could be where we grind down to. That could be a swing long position, though, for Tau, is this general area in here. Okay. Guys, I got to leave in about 10 minutes, so I'm probably not going to get to everything here, but I will do as much as I can. Yeah, Ave took out the highs, our daily highs. We saw like an failed auction type price action. Tried to break out above our previous highs. You see all these wicks on the daily? That's a failed auction. You got above it on lower time frames. You tried to create a range above it. You couldn't. You had that failed auction. Now you're dumping, and you're dumping back down. You're losing your pitchfork midline here. Okay, let's pull our range. Yeah, rejecting your value area high after falling back inside the volume profile. So you had your failed auction, fell back inside the volume profile, back tested that volume profile in confluence with your pitchfork midline. You're rejecting. So I expect you to at least move down to this POC here. giving you a nice 3-wave corrective move as well. Actually, you could even look at that as a 5-wave impulse down. Yeah, so here's the thing with that. It's not the most common, but you could see this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you could be seeing a 5 there. And then you would look for a bigger 3-wave move up to your golden pocket and another 5-wave for your bigger 3-wave corrective move. Money flow looks pretty bad here, about to cross over into the red on the 8-hour chart. 4-hour chart, at the same sorts of bear divs. Guys, anytime you see, especially on Market Cipher B, these momentum waves that are consistent, higher highs in the price action like this, and you see that grindy price action towards the end, that ascending channel, grindy type price action, and your momentum waves are getting lower and lower and lower, and your money flow is draining consistently out of the asset, that is a topping signal. If you hit into some resistance, like for me, the second we lost these prior highs, I would have been out of that long wherever I took it from. The second we lost these, after grinding, seeing this sort of bearish momentum. So now we can expect that move down. And let's look at our golden pocket from the lows from the last time we hit into the pitchfork to our highs. Yeah, I'm this golden pocket coming in around your POC. That's the area, and we also have those internal lows in here. You see these two lows, internal lows for liquidity grabs. This general area of support is where I'd be looking at least coming down to this area. Might drop more. We might drop all the way back down to your weekly in confluence with the bottom of the pitchfork, the lower pitchfork band. But first, you're going to work your way through this volume profile. Ooh, yeah, I would actually be a little bit worried here that this could be a flat. You got your push up in your impulse. You got your first break of structure bearishly. You came up in a B flat. So your B flat will come take out the highs of A. And now you're looking for a C wave to take out the lows of A. That's a flat correction. This here is considered a flat correction after your impulse. So be aware that we could drop all the way down to take out these lows at 213. Yeah, I mean, bear divs on the daily, higher highs in the price action, lower highs in the momentum waves, and your money flows consistently draining out here. I would really be looking at this Ave to continue pushing down overall. Yes, you will see small bounces along the way. Green candles, like see here, 2 or 3 days green candles. You're going to see that, but your overall momentum should be down now. If we do take out this guy down here, let's pull our bigger volume profile of this range. Ooh, yeah. And look at this gap in here. No volume in here. But you can see where's your high volume node at? Right there. I mean, not necessarily high volume node, but your big spike in volume right at your golden pocket, right at our box of support. So look at my cursor. You can see it's going right across to that golden pocket. So that is definitely your next major level of support. The box that I just highlighted here. You lose that, then you're probably going to flush down pretty quickly. And I would at least be looking to take out, I mean, the weekly in confluence with the band is going to give you probably some sort of move. But honestly, I'd be looking at a bigger flush down. Yeah. Okay, Ave, Fet. Yeah, I remember Fet because we were looking at this very bullish pitchfork coming up to the top of it. But you can see what happened on FET. We broke the pitchfork down, came up pretty much to the top of the pitchfork, broke it down, tried to get back inside it, couldn't. Now we're losing it. So this is no longer, I haven't looked at FET in a long time, but let me just go onto our weekly real quick here. Ooh, I do see this. This does look very nice. A descending channel here. We had one deviation past that channel, but otherwise the midline is highly respected of this descending channel. And now that we're rejecting that midline again, we're probably going to come take out our lows of this guy. All these altcoins are seeing rejections from their golden pocket 786 areas. So that should tell you something. We're rejecting from the general after our initial dump down. We're coming up making a lower high, rejecting from our golden pocket 786. And if we're going to see that three-wave corrective move down, we're looking to come pretty much take out these lows at 54.86. Okay, so 49.07. I mean, that could, let's pull our golden pocket. Okay, that golden pocket was hit, but yeah, 188% move. So we're going to take this and we're going to change it to log scale. And I bet you that golden pocket is going to be in alignment with your one-to-one. So that's going to be really a really good level to look for a potential swing long opportunity is from that general area here. Guys, I have to take this phone call. Oh, okay, never mind. I do have to go in about 5 minutes. I do have to go in about 5 minutes here. So yes, this area, actually, I would like to set an alert here. There, but let's do an inside. Okay, so you can see we were working our way up through the lower band, broke above it, back tested it, back test again, came to the lower band. So yeah, that, man, even that 1.236 looks kind of nice down there. I'd generally be looking at coming down. Let's look at our bearish pitchfork. Now, it's going to be very similar to this channel, but it's not going to be the same. Let's get rid of this. We rejected there. Okay, that's our box. And if the bearish momentum is going to continue, then we're going to look at our bearish pitchfork. So let's look at the modified skiff. Yeah, rejecting the midline, bounce from the lower band, but that's going to be your general area. Coming into that box of supports also your lower band. I just want to check out our skiff real quick. I actually do say this one's nicer respected. You're probably going to see a bounce at this golden pocket because it is in confluence with the bottom of the band, and it's your golden pocket. So you'll see some sort of reaction there. That could be a scalp long opportunity, and then you see your 786 is kind of going to be aligning with the bottom of the band. I'd be looking at that. You might see something like this, and then continuation down. Okay. Thomas, you're welcome, man. And Jesus Save 77, thank you, dude. I appreciate that. I appreciate that comment. I do try to teach as well as explain what I'm doing. Looking for goods, Rodolfo. I think we do have a little bit more corrective price action to the downside to go. But if you're talking about scalp long positions, we are at some scalp supports. So, yeah. And Mark Dutch, thank you, man. I appreciate that. All you guys, thank you so much for your nice comments. Like, that's awesome. Okay, guys, I know that I had some more altcoins to cover, but I really do got to get going. Thank you so much. I will be live again on Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. So thank you so much. I will see you then. And